It's shaping up to be a historic victory for Donald Trump. Not only does it look like Trump will win the Electoral College, which is the key to winning the presidency, but he's also positioned to claim the popular vote. This is particularly significant because no Republican has won the popular vote since George W. Bush did it back in 2004. Securing both the Electoral College and the popular vote would be a monumental achievement for Trump, showcasing just how much the political landscape has shifted in his favor. On the other hand, Kamala Harris, who became the Democratic nominee after Joe Biden opted not to run for a second term, currently holds a very narrow lead of just 0.9 in the national polls. But that lead is slipping fast. In fact, 4 of the last 5 national polls show Trump overtaking her. With this kind of momentum on his side, it's almost inevitable that Harris will lose her small advantage as the election draws near. A big part of Trump's resurgence can be attributed to his strength in the Sun Belt, a region that spans the southern U.S. and has become increasingly critical in recent presidential elections. Let's start with Texas, a traditionally Republican state that's been moving towards becoming more competitive in recent years. In 2020, Trump won Texas by only 5 percentage points, which was surprisingly close for a state that's long been a GOP stronghold. There was a lot of talk that Texas could eventually flip to the Democrat due to changing demographics, but in 2024, Trump is poised to put those concerns to rest. He's projected to win Texas by a much larger margin this time, possibly even in the double digits. This would surpass his 2016 victory margin of 9 points, reaffirming Texas as a reliably red state. No Democrat has won Texas since Jimmy Carter in 1976, and it's clear that trend will continue with Trump once again carrying the state easily. Next, let's take a look at Florida, another key state in the Sun Belt that has seen a dramatic political shift in recent years. Florida has a long history of being a swing state, flipping back and forth between Democrats and Republicans. The last time it went blue was in 2012 when Barack Obama narrowly carried the state. But since then, Florida has steadily shifted to the right. In 2016, Trump won Florida by just 1, and in 2020, he expanded that margin to over 3. In this election, Trump is expected to win Florida by an even wider margin, somewhere between 7 to 10 percentage points. This shift has been solidified by the success of Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who won his re-election bid in 2022 by a staggering 19 points. While the presidential race will likely be closer than DeSantis' landslide, Trump's hold on Florida remains strong, and it's almost certain the state's 30 electoral votes will go to it. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. With Texas and Florida essentially locked up for Trump, the focus turns to the remaining battleground states. There are 13 of these states in play, and they're scattered across various regions of the country. In the upper Midwest, we have 4 competitive states. In the Sun Belt, there are 7, and in the Northeast, 2 more are up for grabs. Additionally, there's Nebraska's 2nd congressional district, which awards a single electoral vote. While this district alone won't determine the election's outcome, every electoral vote counts, so it's still worth watching. However, it's unlikely that Nebraska's 2nd district will be a deciding factor, as Trump's lead in other key states is much stronger. Now, turning to Kamala Harris's chances. Her path to victory is becoming more and more difficult. While there are still some states leaning in her favor, even those are much closer than Democrats would like. Take Colorado and New Mexico, for example. Both states that have been reliably Democratic in recent elections. Joe Biden won these states by comfortable double-digit margins in 2020, but in 2024, Harris is expected to win them by a much narrower margin, probably somewhere between 3 and 7 points. The fact that traditionally blue states are becoming more competitive is a sign of just how much ground the Democrats are losing this cycle. The same pattern is playing out in other blue states as well. In New York, for instance, Biden won by a huge margin of 23 points in 2020, but Harris is projected to win by just around 13 points in 2024. Similarly, in Maine, another Democratic-leaning state, Harris is likely won, but the margin will be slim. In 2016, Hillary Clinton barely carried Maine, winning by only 2.9 points. Harris is expected to have a similarly close race there. And this tightening of the margins across the board in blue states reflects Trump's growing strength nationwide. When you add up the states that are solidly in Harris's column, along with those that are likely or leaning Democratic, she reaches just 198 electoral votes, well, short of the 270 needed to win. Meanwhile, Trump is already at 219 electoral votes, and that's before factoring in the states where he has a narrow lead. As we move into analyzing the states leaning toward Trump, it becomes even clearer that Harris faces an uphill battle. Let's dive into the states that are leaning toward Trump. These are traditionally considered battlegrounds, but as the election progresses, Trump's lead in these states has solidified, and they're no longer looking as competitive as they once were. In fact, many of these states like North Carolina and Georgia are now expected to go to Trump by margins of 2 points or more. Starting with North Carolina, Trump currently holds a slim lead of 0.5 in the polls. North Carolina has been a key swing state in recent elections, but it has consistently leaned Republican. Trump won the state by 3.7 in 2016 and by a smaller margin of 1.3 in 2020. This year, he's expected to expand his margin of victory, likely winning by around 4 to 5 points. North Carolina is critical to Trump's path to victory, and his steady performance there makes it a reliable state for the GOP. In neighboring Georgia, Trump is also leading in the polls with a margin of 1.8. Georgia was a major battleground in 2020, and Biden's narrow victory there marked the first time a Democrat had won the state since Bill Clinton in 1992. But in 2024, Trump is on track to take Georgia back. He's expected to win by 3 to 4 points, erasing Biden's slim 2020 victory. This would mark a significant shift back toward the Republicans in Georgia, a state that was once considered a long shot for Democrats, but now seems firmly in Trump's camp. Arizona, another state that flipped to Biden in 2020, is also leaning toward Trump in 2024. Trump currently leads in Arizona by 1.6, and it's worth noting that polling in Arizona has historically overestimated Democratic support. In 2016, Trump won Arizona by 3.5 points, and in 2024, he's expected to win it again by a similar margin of 3 to 4 points. This marks yet another state that was competitive in the last election, but is now leaning toward Trump. Finally, let's take a look at Nevada, a state that has shifted between the two parties over the years, but has been trending Democratic recently. Trump currently leads in Nevada by 0.8, and this state is also expected to lean Republican in 2024. Nevada was once a reliably red state, having voted for George W. Bush in 2000 and 2004. However, in the years since, Democrats have built a solid base there. Trump's lead in Nevada signals that the state could be returning to his more conservative roots, with Trump projected to win by 2 to 3 points. As we move into the Midwest, the Rust Belt states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin will be crucial in determining the final outcome of the election. Trump is projected to sweep these states, which would be devastating for Harris's chances. In Pennsylvania, Trump holds a lead of 0.7. And he's made it clear that winning Pennsylvania is central to his strategy. He won Pennsylvania in 2016, but Biden narrowly flipped it in 2020. In 2024, Trump is on track to win Pennsylvania back by around 3 points, putting him within reach of the 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency. Trump is also leading in Michigan and Wisconsin. In Michigan, he holds a lead of 1.2, while in Wisconsin, his lead is a smaller 0.2. Both of these states are expected to go to Trump by narrow margins, around 2 points each. Winning all three Rust Belt states again would give Trump a significant advantage and make it nearly impossible for Harris to win. As we approach the final days of the election, it's becoming increasingly clear that Trump is on track for a major victory. If the current trends hold, Trump will likely secure 335 electoral votes, far surpassing the 270 needed to win. Meanwhile, Harris is projected to win just 203 electoral votes, leaving her far short of victory. Even more significantly, Trump is now in a position to win the popular vote as well, something no Republican has done in 20 years. If he manages to pull off both the Electoral College and the popular vote, it would mark a seismic shift in American politics, solidifying his legacy as a dominant force in the modern political landscape. Thank you all for sticking with me through this breakdown of the 2024 election. I'll continue to bring you the latest updates as the final results come in. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to